G'day, battlers! Today we're going to be jumping in for a Commander Cup tournament sweep at the hands of an Aussie battler, Brobliterate. And today we're going to be looking at his team, looking at how he does it. And yeah, so if you want to skip straight to the battles, that timestamp is going to be in the progress bar below. So you can skip me talking about his team if you would like to. But yeah, jumping into his team here, he's running that Commander Noctowl, which we did just spend a lot of the stream yesterday where I was talking with a bunch of other Silph content creators about all of the commanders and which commander is best in the cup, and we were kind of dunking on Noctowl a lot in that stream, but Noctowl is a pretty versatile Pokemon that's very sort of neutral. It can kind of fill a lot of roles, it loses to a bunch, it wins against a bunch, and it kind of puts a little bit of threat onto a lot of stuff in this meta outside of the Steel type. So if you do want to hear more about Noctowl, I will link to that discussion at the end of this video and in the description, but the rest of the team, Hypno and Toxicroak, are both on this team, and they are like the core of this entire meta. They're in pretty much every team. Alolan Muk is there for some additional Hypno coverage, and then he's running Alolan Golem, which is an incredibly spicy little Pokemon, and I'm really excited to see that in action today. And then Alolan Ninetales as well, which really kind of rounds out his team. He was kind of talking to me about how he wanted to protect his Alolan Golem by having a bunch of anti-Toxicroak coverage. That's your Hypno, your Alolan Ninetales. Noctowl does a pretty good job of that as well. But with all of that said, let's jump straight into the battles and see how he did it. Jumping into round 1 up against Joe Unica Chell 01 with Poliwrath as their commander, which is a really spicy pick, so interested to see if we do see that one up here, especially with this Volt Switch Alolan Golem, who is now up against a Dugong, which is a fantastic lead matchup. It is pretty squishy though, so even an Icy Wind will do a fair amount of damage. Yeah, it does do a fair amount. Does almost have two Wild Charges, goes for the first one now before getting too low. If it does go through, it will definitely take, oh no, shield! Maybe identifying that Dugong Alolan Golem had the 2 shields, but the opponent bringing in that Frostlass and Brobliterate instant swapping into that Noctowl. Definitely not loving this matchup, and Avalanche is going to do a lot of damage there, but is able to get the Psychic off before going down. I think this will take it down into the yellow. Won't do heaps of damage though. Does take it down into the yellow. Ooh, gets the defense drop. That is I'm pretty sure they're pretty small odds. That's actually pretty huge for Brobliterate here. Neither of these matchups are great, although Alolan Golem does have a little bit of energy. Oh, it's a Charm. Alolan Ninetales definitely putting on a lot of hurt there. Hypno going to be coming in, has that big confusion damage. I'm not sure what moveset it's going to have. We'll just have to wait and see here. If it's got Fire Punch, then Alolan Ninetales is going to be in some strife, but otherwise it should be pretty okay. I guess if it gets hit by a Shadow Ball, that would also be pretty sucky, but shielding the first one, it is a Fire Punch. That is definitely something to worry about. Going for just charming down here. I think potentially even shielding this one, I think Hypno might be able to get to another Fire Punch before being able to charm it down. Okay, so swapping out into Alolan Golem so that doesn't happen. Goes for the Rock Blast, thinking that Confusions might take him out first. Taking out this Hypno, and then it's just going to be that Frostlass in the back. Has cleared the defense drop because they've swapped out, and able to get this second back-to-back Rock Blast off, forcing that last shield to come out of the Frostlass, so that then Ninetales will be able to come in, throw a charge move straight away. Oh, actually no, it was one charm off the charge move, but now able to get the Weather Ball off, and I think this will take out the Frostlass, and that's going to be GG's on game 1 of round 1. Going straight into game 2, we've got the Alolan Ninetales up against Alolan Muk now. Battle of the Alolans, and that charm is just chunking away. Even though it's got the poison typing as well as the dark typing, it still does so much. Swapped into Noctowl, potentially trying to catch that charge move, and really playing similarly to how Count Zevius was talking about it yesterday, how Noctowl is really soaking all of that damage, and we are seeing the Poliwrath come onto the scene. Let's see how this goes. This is going to do a ton of damage. This is a pretty rough spot for Poliwrath to be in. Its charge moves will do a fair amount of damage, depending on what it's got. It could have Ice Punch, it could have Dynamic Punch. It's not up to a Hydro Pump with that much energy. It does get the Dynamic Punch off, and that does do a fair amount, but because Mudshot does essentially nothing, and Poliwrath is really relying on its charge moves here, Noctowl is going to be able to get another Sky Attack off, take out Poliwrath, and potentially we might see the Alolan Muk come back in, because it does have a fair bit of energy. Oh no, we're seeing the Toxicroak come in for the farm down, because that is Noctowl's kind of downside, that it does have the normal typing still. But here's that Charm Alolan Ninetales. The opponent is just crying at this point. Weather Ball going to go through. Going to do a fair amount. Oh no, getting the shield, and then yeah, going to be able to charm down here. I think if he burns one shield, he's going to be able to charm all the way down. Letting the Mud Bomb go through though, because yeah, didn't really have to shield. Swapping into Alolan Muk and swapping into Alolan Golem, catching the charge move. Presumably a Sludge Wave, because I think that was a pretty good. Oh no, just a Dark Pulse. I guess trying to take out Brobliterate's 2 shields. One more Volt Switch is required to take it out. Okay, deciding to shield up there, wanting to keep the energy for Golem to just throw the energy on Toxicroak, play it safe. as opposed to what I was kind of thinking of shielding the Golem and then bringing in the Alolan Ninetales to charm down. But yeah, Wild Charge will certainly take out Toxicroak at this point, and that is GG's taking out round 2. I have left this little bit in, but we are going to game 3 now. Noctowl up against Toxicroak, which is a pretty interesting matchup. Like, even though Noctowl is like flying type versus fighting type, just the fact that Noctowl does have that normal typing, it does kind of play a little bit rough. If Toxicroaks are running Dynamic Punch at Bunny Chance, they will do a fair amount of damage. Sludge Bomb does a fair bit as well. Going for the Sky Attack here, which will take out Toxicroak if it goes through. Not hitting all of the bubbles there, trying to undercharge, but unfortunately it was still too much and is taking out that Toxicroak. In comes that Frostlass and able to get a Sky Attack off. Maybe the opponent's going to be scared that it's another Psychic that could give the defense drop. Does burn the shields. That is pretty good for Brobliterate there. Shield advantage, which is really nice to have when you're up against a Frostlass with an energy advantage. You really need any sort of advantage to get yourself back on top of that matchup. Bringing in the Alolan Golem and swapping into Alolan Ninetales. So I'm not sure if they were trying to catch a charge move, catch an avalanche onto Alolan Ninetales maybe, but the opponent did not go for it. Has to go for the Ice Weather Ball onto this Alolan Muk now, which will start to add up some damage. Burning their last shield and getting this charge move off. Could be that Sludge Wave, but Brobliterate is going to call it, and it is the Sludge Wave, unfortunately. Does take it down, and now it is just Alolan Golem versus the world. Could potentially Volt Switch all the way down here. It's still got 2 shields, so maybe going to try and burn 1 shield here, get a whole bunch of energy, Rock Blast the Alolan Muk away, and then have a Rock Blast ready to go on the Frostlass, and that is exactly what's going on here. Even if Frostlass comes in, throws the charge move, then Brobliterate's going to be able to shield, throw the Rock Blast, and take out that Frostlass in the back. A little bit of lag here. I'll just have to wait, watch that mustachioed man, let it go through, and yeah, here comes the Frostlass eventually. Here we are, and going for the Wild Charge. Interesting, potentially could have just gone for the Rock Blast there, but Wild Charge anyway, still going to do a fair bit of damage, and we are going to just stare at that mustache, that facial haired Golem here. And yeah, that didn't actually go through. So a little bit of problems here, but I did actually talk to Brobliterate. Well, he mentioned that he told me in advance that this game, this third game of round 1, did lag out. They did decide, like, yeah, Brobliterate did win this one, so it is a 3-0. They agreed. But yeah, GG's on round 1, and going to round 2 now up against Mr. Sexy Pants, the man, the myth, the legend, and running with the Jellicent Commander as well. So we're now seeing the Alolan Golem up against Alolan Muk. Potentially not going for the catch here. We'll see if he does shield this first charge move. Does shield it and is a Dark Pulse. So again, Alolan Golem is a pretty squishy Pokemon, so it doesn't really want to take any hits. Charges up to the double Wild Charge. Going to throw the first one, hope that it does. Oh man, that Alolan Muk is Gonski, and getting this second Wild Charge off. The opponent is just forced to shield here. They cannot stand to lose 2 Wild Charges in a row. Swaps into the Noctowl, and here comes Alolan Ninetales, and it is a Charm Alolan Ninetales, going to be chunking away at this Noctowl. And Noctowl is again just one of those Pokemon that can take these hits, dish out a bit of damage, put on a little bit of pressure. Alolan Ninetales already below half health here. Noctowl putting in a fair bit of work, getting to another Sky Attack, but Alolan Ninetales gets to its charge move first, and letting the Noctowl go, which is probably the right play there. Let Alolan Golem come in, farm up that energy on the Alolan Ninetales. 1 more Volt Switch. Oh no, hangs on. Oh, Alolan Ninetales getting the charge move just beforehand, and we do see the no shield. So gonna leave it to Alolan Ninetales to charm down these Alolan Ninetales and then get rid of this entire Toxicroak. So potentially might be able to get to a Mud Bomb and a Sludge Bomb, so might have to shield correctly here on Brobliterate's side. Does opt for the no shield, and it is a Mud Bomb. What a call, what a call. Now gonna go for the charm down. Actually, ooh, really low here, so gonna have to shield here, and I feel like counter from Toxicroak might take out Alolan Ninetales before the charm goes through. Oh, that is so rough. Mr. Sixpence taking out the first game, and we're now seeing the Hypno versus Hypno going straight into game 2 of round 2. It is the Purified, so maybe it's got return, maybe it's all a prank, and tried to swap into Noctowl to catch the Shadow Ball, but they were ready, No one is throwing the trigger when Mr. Sixpence wants here, and goes for the Fire Punch. Fire Punch, potentially that move to give that coverage for the Alolan Ninetales, and Noctowl now stuck in with another Charm. Alolan Ninetales, pretty rough here, but going for another Sky Attack, which will bring that Ninetales down at the yellow if it was not shielded, which it was. Gonna be able to get to another one though. And again, we're seeing that charge move come just as he's trying to get there. So this will come through. Take Noctowl out, and then can really bring in either pick here. Neither would be too bad. Hypno might be a little bit safer just because it's more bulky. Does bring in that Hypno, gets a little bit more energy, and throwing the Fire Punches now. Gonna do tons of damage to this Ninetales if it does go through. So we'll just have to wait and see here. Yeah, it does go through, and then just Confusion down. I don't think that Ninetales gonna get to another charge move there, and did not. Here comes that Hypno, gonna go straight for the Shadow Ball now. That Hypno on the other end is loaded with energy, so I feel like they're forced. Oh, letting it go through. That is a huge call. And swapping into a Alolan Golem there. So Toxicroak comes out here. That Hypno in the back still has a ton of energy, but now has barely any health. Going for the Wild Charge here to try and take this thing out, and does go through. Oh man, the opponent really just trying to keep onto that shield for the Hypno, but now in such a rough spot. Had to throw the energy or else they were going to get taken out, and then yeah, not going to have enough energy to take out. Oh no! The opponent is just in tears at this point. That is absolutely devastating. Burns their shield. Gonna get a charge move off here against Hypno. Brobliterate only needs one Confusion to go through here. If they've gone for the Fire Punch bait, they could maybe get another Fire Punch off, but I don't think that that Fire Punch will take it out. So yeah, that is GG's, and it is now 1-1 in round 2. Crazy battle here. Going into round 3 though. Round 3, game 3 of round 2. Noctowl up against Alolan Muk. Battle of the generalists here. Both just kind of doing neutral damage to each other. Noctowl firing up a ton of energy here. Muk has a lot of energy on its own side as well. First Kai attack, again, Brobliterate missing that bubble, which I don't think is going to be the end of the world, but we'll see if an Alolan Muk hangs on for like 1 HP, then it might be devastating. But Dark Pulse coming through here, and just going to keep going, keep going, keep going. I think Muk might win this matchup in the one shield, I think, but letting the Dark Pulse come through, we'll be able to get to this Sky attack, and Muk is forced to shield here if it wants to keep it around, otherwise could bring in something like a Toxicroak to farm down. Does burn the shield, and could potentially Snarl down here. Snarl, oh, yep, we do see the Snarl down. Muk has so much energy here. In comes that Alolan Golem, who is going to chunk health away from that Alolan Muk. Muk needs to throw its energy straight away or swap out here. Lands the first Dark Pulse. One more Snarl. Oh, over farmed that. I'm pretty sure he must have had enough energy for another Snarl there, but yeah, unfortunately does go down. He throws the Wild Charge again, trying to take out this Toxicroak in one foul swoop. And the opponent does shield that time, does not want to repeat. And here comes that Hypno, getting one Confusion onto that thing. And here comes the Jellicent. Unfortunately, because the opponent has no more shields, and Brobliterate has 2, going to be able to shield up this first one, even if it's a Bubble Beam. Oh, doesn't shield, knowing that it's a Bubble Beam. And going to go for the Shadow Ball to take this thing out. And then, yeah, we'll just be able to Confusion down that Toxicroak. Toxicroak is going to be able to do nothing. If this was GBL, the opponent should just be top lefting at this point, because it is such a rough spot. Burning the shield now, and I think we'll be able to Confusion down. The Bubble Beam actually did help hang on in that instance. But I think Confusion... Ooh, going for the Fire Punch, going... Okay, I don't want to get hit by another Bubble Beam. I don't want to have to burn another shield. We'll just take this thing out, and then we can Confusion down the Toxicroak. And yeah, could potentially even get to a Fire Punch that might like just seal the deal, and is going to do that. Goes for the shield though, and yeah, this is going to be GG's. We're going to watch it out for the sake of watching it out, but it's well and truly GG's here. Toxicroak going to go down, and Brobliterate taking out round 2 of 4 in this tournament. Going into round 3 now, up against Skratadoodle, and running the Empoleon as the lead, and no Toxicroak on this team as well. So we'll see how it does end up going. Alolan Golem coming in, no fear of a Toxicroak here, but Alolan Ninetales is still a little bit scary. Going straight for the Wild Charge, trying to take this thing out ASAP, and does get shielded, unfortunately. So swapping out into Alolan Muk now. Pretty good matchup for Alolan Muk, and here comes that Empoleon. Empoleon is such an interesting Pokemon, able to put on so much damage with these waterfalls. Has that Hydro Cannon and Drill Peck threat as well. Lands the first Dark Pulse, but not going to take that thing out. Has to get to another one if he wants to take out the Empoleon. Does Brobliterate shield here? No shield. Lets the Hydro Cannon come through. Potentially wants to... Oh, actually, neither pick is great here. I guess Hypno is probably the safer pick. Oh, but brings in the Golem. Going to take a lot of damage from those waterfalls, but is going to get that energy back up. So no matter what comes in, it's going to be under threat of a Wild Charge coming straight away. And it is a Lantern. That is an incredibly interesting pick from the opponent. I guess didn't want to bring in that Alolan Ninetales, keep it for later on, but man, that Lantern is going to be able to tank a Wild Charge, but Spark is going to be doing nothing to Alolan Golem. But yeah, swapping into Hypno anyway. Maybe a little bit scared of like one charge move, but at this point you can shield, and then I don't think Lantern's going to... Oh, did go for the Hydro Pump, and going to be able to Confusion down here. Lantern's not going to get to another charge move. And then just has tons of energy to go up against this Alolan Ninetales. Has the Fire Punch ready to go. The opponent is in a really rough spot here. So first Fire Punch, boom, gets shielded. And then at this point, going for the Shadow Ball, which, yeah, no matter what goes on here, Hypno is in such a good spot. Brobliterate is really just doing a really good job at getting the right Pokemon into the right spot at the right time. Having this energy ready to go. One more Confusion, down goes Alolan Ninetales, and that is game 1. So going into game 2, and we're seeing the Cradily, which is such a spicy pick. Like, I love, well, I guess it's not that spicy, but it's a really interesting pick, and it's really good in any cup that it is in. Thank you to Jack Does Hurdles again for showing me how good Cradily is just in general in Pokemon Go. But Stone Edge coming through does do a fair bit of damage to that Hypno, charging up a lot of energy, has the Shadow Ball ready to go. Is the opponent going to shield? Because if he doesn't, I'm pretty sure this is going to take out the Cradily. And no shield, and actually didn't. Cradily is a really tanky Pokemon. So at this point, I think could shield and then confusion down. I think does shield at the last second there. Was a Grass Knot, 1 confusion, 2 confusion, and down goes Cradily. A little bit of energy, but now Brobliterate at the shield disadvantage, which is not where he's used to being. Swapping into the Alolan Golem. We'll see if we do see this swap out from the opponent. But again, they don't have the Toxicroak, so they don't really have that hard punishing to go on here. So charging up energy, oh, barely gets the wild charge off there before going down. Not going to quite get to a second one as well, unfortunately. Does get the shield, and yeah, going to go down there before even the Volt Switch goes through. Brings in that Hypno, needs to take out this Alolan Ninetales so that it doesn't get lined up against his Toxicroak, at least too early. Burns the first shield, and then one more confusion, gets this Fire Punch off. This won't take out the Alolan Ninetales, so Toxicroak is going to have a meeting with this Alolan Ninetales no matter what. Swapping in so he can't get that extra little bit of farm. Gonna burn the last shield here, and going to hope that he can maybe counter down this Alolan Ninetales, which could be possible here. Because charms are adding up, these counters are adding up because of the ice typing on Ninetales. He's able to do it, and here comes that Alolan Muk going straight for the Mud Bomb. Gonna do a fair amount of damage to this Muk. I'm not sure how much health it has. Oh, yeah, has still a bit. Has to counter down here, and I think Muk is gonna get a charge move off. So Toxicroak has to hope that this Dark Pulse does not take it out, which I feel like, ooh, wait, doesn't take it out. Oh no, it did take it out, and simultaneous KO. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, I guess we're going into the new game 2, which is Toxicroak up against the Alolan Ninetales. I'm a little bit surprised that I thought Confusion was a slower move than Snarl, but hey, it is what it is. It happened, and we are now seeing the Sludge Bomb going straight away, getting shielded by the Ninetales, unfortunately. Swapping into the Alolan Muk. It's really seeing like a lot of this gameplay is forcing shields so that you can maybe land a big move later on. But we're seeing the Alolan Muk mirror match now. Brob's Muk has a lot less health, but a lot more energy. Not a lot less health, really. Like, it's still in the green. It's still pretty healthy. But Sludge Wave coming through does do a ton of damage there. And Brob going for the Dark Pulse bait in return. Do we see the shield come up? Probably not. Yeah, no shield, unfortunately. At this point, could go for the Sludge Wave to try and even it out. Does get that extra Snarl in, knowing that the opponent was not going to get their charge move through. Going for the Sludge Wave now. No shield. Does get it pretty low, but not the greatest spot for Brob here. Even if he shields, I feel like the opponent actually might still be able to win out. So let's the Muk go down. Presumably going to bring in the Toxicroak to get a little bit of energy. Oh no, brings in Alolan Golem. Able to take out the Muk before a charge move comes through as well, which is pretty huge. And here is that Cradily. So charging up a big energy, swapping into Toxicroak, get a little bit of counter damage. And here is that Alolan Ninetales. Because he's got the energy advantage, he's able to kind of threaten that he might have a Sludge Bomb here, even though he doesn't. So hoping to get a shield from his opponent. No shield. It does take it out anyway though, which I guess I didn't know how much Mud Bomb did to an Alolan Ninetales, but here comes the Alolan Golem. Not a great spot because a single Grass Knot could spell disaster for Golem here, and has to take out a shield as well, so is up to the double wild charge. Going to go for the first one, hope it goes through, and then even if it gets shielded, going to be able to get another one off. Does get shielded, gets this, oh no he doesn't. That's a shame. GG's going to be 1-1 in this round now. Well, kind of like 2-2, 1.5, because there was the tie as well. Going to the deciding battle here. Instant swap into the, well, not instant, but swap into Hypno to threaten that Toxicroak out of there. Brob in such a good spot here. Really just playing that hard counter v hard counter. Does not care about the charge moves coming through from the Hypno. Just snarl. Can't farm up tons of energy, going for the Dark Pulse now. I'm not expecting the opponent to shield up here because they're not in a great spot, so they really just kind of want to get out of there as soon as possible. Able to get one extra Snarl in as well, which is fantastic. And we'll see what does end up coming in. It is the Alolan Ninetales, so going to be able to threaten going for the shield bait here with the Dark Pulse. Do we see the shield come up from the opponent? There's the shield. Great call, but is he going to be able to get to another Sludge Wave? Potentially one more Snarl. Oh, just isn't able to get there, unfortunately. Really rough. Could have gone for the Dark Pulse shield bait, but was really hoping to get there. But yeah, really unfortunate. But going for the shield now. is just nice Weather Ball, but you know, put a fair bit of pressure. Here's that Alolan Muk swapping into the Toxicroak now. Again, just kind of forcing these hard counters to land on the hard counters. Hypno is not like a hard counter for Alolan Ninetales, but it is pretty rough, especially with that Fire Punch. Gonna no shield here. Dark Pulse isn't going to take it out by any means. And then could... I'm not sure if he's going to be able to counter down here, because I think, like, oh yeah, he's able to counter down, and then Alolan Ninetales is going to come in. Isn't going to be able to get the Mud Bomb off, but doesn't matter too much, because Hypno's going to come in here. Again, this is a bit of a case of a pretty rough spot for the opponent. Poor Skratadoodle. Going for the first Fire Punch, presumably going to get the shield from the Ninetales. And then only has to get to one more Fire Punch, and then as well as the Confusions, should be taking out the Ninetales, I believe. Shield of the Weather Ball, and one more Confusion. Here's the Weather Ball, here's the Fire Punch. Fire Weather Ball is not on Hypno yet, but yeah, takes out Ninetales, and that is GG's on round 3. And we are now going to the finals up against Shiver MSG 15. And this is the first time they're actually seeing a repeat commander. So we've seen 4 unique commanders in this tournament. And this is the repeat of Jellicent. So we've seen the Toxicroak up against Lantern, which is a really strong matchup for Brob here. Fantastic spot. Shielding with the first charge move. And at this point just farming up tons of energy. Can throw Mud Bombs whenever he pleases. Goes for the first one here. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom. And Mr. Worldwide, when I walk in the room, a few more counters, and this thing is going to be going down. Toxicroak has a fair bit of energy as well, so we are seeing the Alolan Ninetales come in, but he has the energy, able to get this Sludge Bomb off, which will put a whole lot of threat onto that Ninetales. Does get the shield, and potentially, oh, it is a Powder Snow Alolan Ninetales, so going to get its charge moves faster, but not doing as much damage with its fast move. Going for the Mud Bomb threat. And does get the shield. That is absolutely huge for Brob there. The opponent did not need to shield and now has no shields left over. Weather Ball comes through, takes out Toxicroak. And this is looking really good here. You can really bring in either pick, because either Muk is going to have Sludge Wave or Golem is going to have that Rock Blast. Both is going to be able to take out this Ninetales after burning a single shield. No shields required. No shield. Weather Ball going to come through, going to do a fair bit of damage, because again, Alolan Golem, not the tankiest of Pokemon. Going for the Wild Charge, which is kind of interesting there. I don't think he really had to. But going for it anyway, takes that thing out. Maybe doesn't want to reveal Rock Blast, although I think Alolan Golem has to have a rock move. I think it's only got 2 rock and 1 electric charge move, I think. So kind of strange there. I guess didn't want to reveal both moves anyway, but able to not quite Voltage down. But here he comes, 1 Snarl, and that thing does go down. So let a shield as well. We're going to game 2. Not as much of a dominating lead scenario here, but Alolan Golem up against that Alolan Muk. Maybe Brob was just trying to show that he had the Wild Charge, put a little bit of scaredness in the opponent's mind to maybe shield when they don't have to. But charging up to the double Wild Charge again, we've seen this strategy before. Brob is playing it the same way and it's worked well before. We'll see if it works well this time. Goes for the first one, and do we see the shield? There is the shield. Gets the second one off with no Snarl sneaking through, which is fantastic to see. And do we see the double shield? No shield, and Muk goes down. That is so rough, but now swapping into the Alolan Muk up against that Alolan Ninetales. Because it doesn't have Charm, this is not as much of a scary matchup at all for Alolan Muk. Actually, a pretty good matchup. Charm is really kind of necessary to put that pressure on. Burning the last shield on that Sludge Wave, and I think Muk might be able to get to another Sludge Wave before Ninetales has a chance of taking it out. Ooh, has the Dazzling Gleam. I stand absolutely corrected here, ladies and gentlemen, because Dazzling Gleam, wow, that is going to take that thing out. And here comes that Golem again. Dazzling Gleam is not going to be coming out here because it is far too quick. It is the Weather Ball. Burning the shield though, because it doesn't want to get Golem too low. And at this point, going for another Wild Charge. I really feel like Rock Blast. Maybe Rock Blast is a terrible move. I don't really know the stats on Rock Blast, but Wild Charge goes through, takes out the Alolan Ninetales, and here is that. Oh man, this is a pretty rough spot. The opponent has to burn their energy, otherwise this Hypno is going to get to its Shadow Ball. So forced to burn its energy there, going to be energy dry, take out the Hypno, and then Golem is just going to have to get to a single charge move. Ooh, rough. I think this Avalanche will certainly take out the Alolan Golem here. Jumping straight into the final battle of the tournament, we have the Alolan Ninetales up against the Alolan Muk, and again it is that Charm Tail, so it is going to do a fair amount of damage here, put a fair amount of pressure. Does unfortunately shield the Dark Pulse, so got shield rated there, and goes for the Ice Weather Ball, which I'm not sure if it will take out the Alolan Muk at this range, but I'm kind of expecting a shield to come up. There's the shield. One more Charm, and swapping into Muk to try and catch the charge move. Unfortunately, it did not work out for them. Everyone's just kind of holding their energy close to their chest here. But we're going for the Sludge Wave straight away. We'll see if the opponent does end up shielding or not. Oh no, oh no, lets their Ninetales go down. Thought that Brob was going to go for the shield bait in return, but it did not happen. And here's the Frostlass. Frostlass is such a poor swap in into an Alolan Muk because this Dark Pulse will do so much damage. Does get the Avalanche off first, and Brob not shielding. Oh, hanging on. Oh no, oh no. Muk hanging on with 1 HP, able to get the Dark Pulse off. This is just the opponent's worst day of their life. 1 Powder Snow coming through here. Oh man, that is rough. Holding onto a shield brings in that Alolan Ninetales because Alolan Ninetales is not going to care about the avalanches from that Frostlass, whereas Alolan Golem would be a little bit more scared. Plus, Alolan Ninetales might be a little bit scared of the charge moves that Muk has in the back. Probably gonna let this come through. It is the Shadow Ball, but it's not going to quite take it out. 1 more charm, 2 more charms, and simultaneous KO. So we're now seeing a dry Golem come into this Muk with energy. This could really go either way here. Kind of lands the first Dark Pulse, is going to be able to shield up the next charge move, but doesn't need to. Volt Switch going through and taking out the entire tournament. And just like that, yeah, Brobliterate does hit the 4-0 with a pretty interesting team. Like, Alolan Golem put in so much work that I think Alolan Golem might be something that people really have to look at. Noctowl is doing a really good job at soaking energy. Alolan Muk, Hypno, just this really bulky Pokemon really kind of backed up that squishy Alolan Golem really well, so that he was able to use his shield correctly, get this energy off in the right spot. The Charm Alolan Ninetales did a lot of work as well. Toxicroaks just weren't able to land on this Alolan Golem, so yeah, just really well played. And yeah, but yeah, thanks again for sharing the battles with us, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially that subscribe one. Thank you to my patrons and supporters over on Twitch as well. And yeah, I do recommend that you do go check out that talk with the other content creators, talking all about the Commander Cup, talking about who is the best command in the Cup. It was a really fun talk. I had a lot of fun, and I really appreciate everyone for coming out for that as well. So yeah, definitely recommend you check that out as well. And down the bottom, I'll put another Commander Cup video probably. So yeah, you can check all of that out, and I will see you in the next one.